Hello everybody, Maven here, and today I wanted to give a special shout out to YouTube commenter The Regular Folks 1723 for introducing me to a combo that's actually kinda insane. So their comment reads, "Can I get you to try Heartshadow with On the Prowl and Gwisin Vest? You can get 65 ammo with 2 reserves, it's actually 64 by the way. The synergy is kinda crazy." And when I first saw this comment, I didn't think much of it because the Gwisin Vest sucks, the Heartshadow sucks, and On the Prowl sucks. But for some weird reason, when you combine all 3 of these things together along with one particular artifact mod, he's right, the synergy is actually crazy. I'm telling you, this is like the hidden hunter meta and every hunter player should be trying this out. So thank you very much for your comment and suggestion, The Regular Folks. Just letting you guys know, I try to read almost all the comments, so keep them coming, whether it's to leave a build suggestion or to ask a question or even to just state your favorite flavor of ice cream. I read it all and I try to respond to as many comments as I can. So if you have any creative build ideas, feel free to share. But now let's break down today's combo and let me show you why it's so crazy. Hope you enjoy. Shout out to our sponsor, Advanced GG, the #1 gaming supplement in the world. Use code MAVEN at checkout for 10% off. Link down below. Thank you. So in the background gameplay, you may or may not be seeing me do a solo expert Lost Sector, expert Court of Blades, and a Grandmaster Nightfall with this build. And a couple of days ago, if you asked me if you could accomplish these activities with Gwisin Vest, Heartshadow, and On the Prowl, I'd call you crazy. But my eyes have been opened, so let me explain all these things one by one. So I should explain On the Prowl first because it's honestly kind of expendable and I don't know if the build actually needs it. There's a chance the Trapper's Ambush or Stylish Executioner could be better, but I haven't really tried them yet as I've just been sticking with what the commenter suggested. So On the Prowl marks a target when you go invisible with your Vanishing Step, and when you kill this marked target, it creates a smoke bomb at their location that makes you and allies invisible as you pass through it, and also boosts your ability regen, weapon stability, and reload speed. A bunch of things that we don't really need for a sword or a glaive, but at least that ability regen is nice. And speaking of a sword, Heartshadow is mainly what this build is based around, and to sum up this sword, heavy attacks create 4 void projectiles that cause weaken and make you invisible. Going invisible from this grants you the Shot in the Dark buff, which basically means that attacking out of invis will be 25% stronger. Now I do not have the catalyst for this thing, but all the catalyst does is boost your movement speed while invisible, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. But anyways, this sword does hit incredibly hard. I was actually surprised, and part of the reason that it was hitting very hard is because we're pairing it with the Gwisin Vest, which is kind of a confusing exotic. So to break it down, you land light attacks with your spectral blades, and once you use a heavy attack to go invis, it'll count the amount of light attacks you landed and refund that amount of super energy accordingly. So in the expert Court of Blades gameplay, you'll see me go 5 lights and heavy. I go light, 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 heavy, or something like that. Like that's the combo. And every time I use that heavy to go invis, you'll see a chunk of my super return. So it's more or less just a rate influx for spectral blades, which is not bad honestly, especially after the huge roaming super buff we got in episode Revenant last year. But I will say that spectral blades has absolutely atrocious hit registration against skinnier and taller bosses, and I think that needs a bit of a rework, Bungie. But against chunkier grounded bosses, it's actually pretty dang solid, I'll admit. But anyways, that was a massive tangent, going back to what we were talking about with the Heartshadow hitting extremely hard. The Gwisin Vest also has a secondary passive ability that says exiting invisibility will create a smoke bomb at your location, which is huge for the Heartshadow and our glaive. And there's an internal 5-second cooldown before you can proc this smoke bomb again. So typically, the Heartshadow itself is what applies weaken, but with the Gwisin Vest proccing that smoke bomb as soon as we exit invis, it will apply that weaken before the Heartshadow hits, so it itself will benefit from the weaken damage. Therefore, it hits incredibly hard. Testing it out against Carl here, we're going to go invis and then do our power attack, and it chunks him for nearly half of his health. And this is without surges. You can run a surge if you want for 10% more damage and maybe 2-shot him, but I opted for a scavenger mod instead. But as it is, it took 3 hits to kill him, with that 3rd hit being a little bit overkill. And comparing that against a time-lost Hezen Vengeance rocket launcher, it takes 5 rockets to kill him, doing significantly less. Not to mention Heartshadow also gives you infinite weaken and invis, obviously at the cost of range in the exotic slot though. But one more thing you should know about the Gwisin Vest and also on the Prowl is that the smoke bomb they create counts as melee damage. Anything that is a smoke bomb counts as a melee, so it will indeed proc cast no shadows on Martyr's Retribution. So something you could technically do is hit a boss with your Heartshadow, emerge and make that smoke, and then start dumping your martyrs on them. Now obviously this isn't as effective on Carl because he gets stun locked away from your smoke, but if you're doing this against a bigger, fatter boss that won't get knocked around by this, you can dump a ton of GL shots on them with this combo. Now you can run this with today's build if you wanted to, but I am not doing that as I feel a glaive synergizes so much better, but I thought I would just throw that out there because it's cool. And shameless plug, but I did actually do an extremely fun prismatic Omnioculus build video based around this exact Martyr's Retribution combo, so if you were curious, I'll link it below and also in the top right corner if you wanted to check it out. Anyways, I digress. So I also mentioned in the intro that there's a particular artifact mod that is also a major part of our combo, and that is Maligned Harvest. This is the bread and butter of this build. This mod is what basically enables this build to be able to be used in the most difficult content, because when you boost it with your Tome of Want, it makes it so applying Weaken grants you half of a Void Overshield. And remember that our Gwisin Vest and our Heartshadow both apply Weaken, and our nades do as well because we got Echo of Undermining with Vortex nades which linger and get multiple Malign Harvest triggers, and our Smoke Bomb weakens as well. So every time we do that heavy attack with our Heartshadow, we just get free overshields. And this is extremely important because if you're fighting a boss, you will trigger a stomp attack when you go for that Heartshadow heavy attack. And the free overshields will allow you to tank any stomp attack and repeat the loop. So the whole point of this build is to keep bosses weakened forever, and also to just stay alive because this build just does not die. You're invis forever and you get overshields for everything you hit. And in the moments that you aren't invisible, or you're just conserving ammo, you can swap over to your glaive and just bot walk around with your glaive shield up, having like 1,000,000% resist until your dodge recharges, dodge to go invis, and repeat the loop. So that's the main concept of this build explained. But now to address the smaller elephant in the room that some of you may be wondering about, which is how the heck are we going to have a consistent build that's based around a heavy weapon? Don't heavy weapons run out of ammo? Yes, but we luckily have a way around this right now, thanks to a new handy dandy little artifact mod called Gold from Lead, which says collecting 3 to 4 special ammo bricks will give you some free heavy ammo as well. Now I'm not sure if I show that Hydroponics Delta run in the gameplay, but you'll see me spamming special finishers almost non-stop. So a massive part of this build's gameplay loop is to get armor charge and utilize special ammo finisher on our class item wherever we possibly can. In addition to that, we have another artifact mod right now called Dreadful Finisher, which makes another special brick when you finish any bigger boys. So sometimes we make multiple bricks with one finisher. In addition to these two things, we also have special and heavy ammo finders on the helmet, along with double void reserves on the chest and a void scavenger on the boots. Furthermore, we have the heavy ammo finder enhancement mod on our glaive to grant additional progress towards the kill progression needed to spawn a heavy ammo finder brick. So we have all these methods to make bricks of ammo, making the Heartshadow more spammable. All we need is a method of getting armor charge. So we're going to need orbs, which we can make with Reaper, Firepower, Void Siphon, and also the Echo of Harvest Fragment. This is defeating a weakened target creates an orb of power and a void breach. And literally everything is getting weakened. So the orbs are extremely free to get with this build. Like literally watch this little snippet from the beginning of the Hydroponics Delta run. Literally the first ad we killed spawned 3 orbs of power. It's that easy. Additionally, we have the elemental charge mod on our boots, which says collecting an elemental pickup such as a void breach can grant us armor charge, and Echo of Harvest happens to be making tons of those. And we also have charged up on the chest to hold 4 stacks of armor charge and stacks on the boots to double the rate at which we are granted armor charge. So this build quite literally just has infinite armor charge. This is probably the easiest build in the entire game to obtain armor charge with. It's incredibly free. And then you just spam special finishers wherever we possibly can, collect as many special bricks as we can, proc gold from lead, and profit with our Heartshadow. And we're also running double specials because I got Tanasha's Mastery with Chill Clip in my kinetic slot, which is a weapon that deals with all 3 champion types, so it's nice to have that for utility. and I could be coping, but I believe that more special ammo bricks naturally spawn if you're running double specials. Now, this was a fact back in the day, but it was something that Bungie patched about 2.5 years ago. So apparently more special bricks won't spawn when running double specials, but just eyeballing it, in my personal experience, I've noticed an uprise in special bricks when running double specials. Let me know in the comments if you guys noticed this as well, because I swear it's happening. But anyways, for those who wanted to know what my glaive is, it's a forthcoming deviance with enhanced demolitionist and destabilizing rounds. Absolutely nasty roll, helps us spam more nades and helps us get more volatile explosions, which is important because when we enhance the volatile marksman artifact mod, it makes volatile explosions grant dodge energy, so it helps us get on the prowl going more often. And to break down the rest of our fragments, we got persistence to stay invis longer, starvation to get devour, which is another thing benefiting our grenade spam and survival, and finally obscurity to go invis when we perform special finishers. For my stats, I opted for double hundreds in resilience and discipline and dumped the rest into mobility. And here's a snippet of my artifact if you wanted to copy my mods, and that about does it for the build. For the gameplay loop, I'm still kind of figuring that out myself because this build takes some practice, but all I know is that you want to dodge to go invis before heading into an encounter because you want to emerge and proc Gwisin Vest. And you don't always have to use your Heartshadow on marked targets. You can just use your glaive, because since it's another point-blank weapon like a sword, it also synergizes perfectly with Gwisin Vest's smoke bomb ability. And remember to make sure that your artifact is boosted from the Tome of Want, otherwise the build really isn't as good. And remember to spam finishers and collect special ammo bricks wherever you possibly can. And remember to pop your spectral blades wherever possible so you can preserve some heavy ammo. And that's about it. Seriously, a very powerful and potent build. It doesn't die, it shreds yellow bars, and it keeps bosses weakened for your teammates. And it's no slouch when it comes to damage output. Like that boss at the end of the solo expert lost sector died in 2 heavy attacks and a nade, whereas it would have probably taken like 6 rockets to kill that guy. And in those expert Court of Blades runs, I don't mean to talk down about my teammates or anything, but I did consistently out damage my teammate here, who was literally running Geomag stabilizers with Queen Breaker, which is meta as heck. And I somehow did more, which is Heartshadow and Spectral Blades, which is pretty unbelievable. If you told me what would win out of this build and that build a couple days ago, I would easily say Geomags 100% of the time. So don't count it out when it comes to damage. But anyways, as always, I'll leave the dim loadout link to the build down below in the description, and also the pinned comment if you'd like to give it a try. And if you got any buddies or hunter mains, I encourage you to share the video with them, because perhaps this is something they might want to give a try. And that is going to do it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about the build in the comments, and if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Would love to have you here for more Act 3 content on the way. And remember to check out our sponsor, Advanced GG. Use code MAVEN at checkout for 10% off your order. Link down below, and I will catch you in the next video. See you later.